Hi everyone, welcome to this short video on 2.12 in zyBooks. Okay, so let's check out this lab. I want to actually emphasize on a couple of points here. Okay, so what is this lab about? You will need to actually read in input and transform it to a particular output. Okay, so there are two different ways that input is going to be given to you. The first way is the first name, middle name, and last name. And for example, like Pat Silly Doe is the input given to you. And what you need to do is you need to read this in and do some processing, and display as last name, comma, space, first name initial, dot, middle name initial, dot. Okay? So this is one way you will receive input, but there is another way. Okay? So you need to actually test your code for two different types of input here. And the other way is first name, last name, so without a middle name here. And what you need to do is you need to, so for example, if the input is Julia Clark, your output needs to look like last name, comma, space, first name initial, and a dot. Okay, so you need to make sure you check for these two different types of input. So what are some suggestions here? Okay, so the first suggestion is that you need to, let me actually write here, you need to read in the input using the input function, okay? And you don't need to have anything between the parentheses because there's no prompt here, okay? Then you need to use the dot split function on your input, on the input that you read in and stored in a particular variable. So you need to use this split function in order to split the different pieces of information. And notice here that you may have two pieces of information which you're going to split. So this means that you're going to create a list where the first element is going to contain Julia and the second element is going to contain Clark. Or you need to split three pieces of information. Of course, the split function takes care of this, okay? So if it finds two words, it's going to create a list with two elements. If it finds three words, it's going to create a list with three elements. Now, one thing you need to use here that we haven't discussed is the if statement, okay? So once you split your input and store in a list and say the name of this list is tokens, for example, say you stored it in a list called tokens, what you need to do next is you need to check, does this list contain two items or does it contain three? And how do you do this? Well, you use an if statement. If length and in parentheses tokens equal to 2, colon, and then do something here. Okay, so the do something part is actually how you're going to print, the name using this format up here. So you need last name, comma, and first name's initial here with a dot. Okay, so here in order to be able to extract, for example, the first initial, you need to use something like tokens brackets, okay, where in the first bracket you need to insert the row number. This is the row of the list. If it's the first element The second element, obviously here it's the first element, right? Because we need the J. So it's the first element, and then here in the second bracket you need to specify the character number. Is it the first character of the second element, the second, the third, the fourth? Okay, and remember here that Python uses zero-based lists, okay? So the first element is at location 0 and not 1, okay? So this is a tip here. I don't want to give you the solution, I just want to help you out, create the code yourself. So here you need to actually print using this format here, especially for this first element. And then you need another if statement, okay? So the other if statement has to do with a case where you have 3 words entered. So here you need to check for 3 and make sure here that you indent, okay? Under the if statements always need an indentation, okay? So once you print, notice that you can't print it like this right here. So if you want to print something, you can't put it here aligned under the if. It has to be indented with the tab. Okay, so here figure out how to print using this format right here. Okay. Okay, so you need to use, this notation in both of these cases somewhere. So I'm not going to give you everything again. This is just some extra help on this. Okay, so here you also need to print, here you need to print. And then when you test your program, remember to test for both cases. Okay, so you're going to test something like Ben Jones in order to test the case where you have 2 tokens, or Ben, I don't know, Anthony Jones, for example, in order to test this case. Okay, hope this was helpful. Thank you.